set in lesson 4. And just the PowerPoint right there. I showed so I next time I teach this class. There are 4 major kinds of molecules you eat in your diet that you must have in your diet. And that first one on there, I don't know why I said amino acids, because my mind says put down proteins which are made of amino acids. I must have jumped to the amino acid part. I wish I said proteins. Because the 4 major things you better eat are proteins, which are made of amino acids, and carbohydrates, which are made of monosaccharides, and lipids, which are made of glycerol and fatty acids, and nucleic acids, which are made of nucleotides. Don't bother that now, but I'll tell you right. I think I will change it just so you see what it would be like on a test. And sometimes my mind's writing things fast, I can write. Right here, I should have said proteins. Alright. And what we do now is go back to the student outline. And I'm going to find that, and I'm going to make it so that next class comes in, won't be wondering about why is there 2 blanks and you got proteins on there. So here's how I do it. I put the word in that I want to be the answer. Well, if I have to get it spelled right, that is. So when I'm doing when I'm constructing these things, now one more time, the things on the screen, those are the end. That's the unit. Now I may ask you one day, what builds proteins? And then you would say, oh, amino acids do. I may ask you, well, what builds carbohydrates? And you would say, well, monosaccharides do. I may ask you, well, what builds these lipids? And then you would say, well, glycerol and fatty acids do. And I might even say, well, what builds nucleic acids? And then you would say, nucleotides do. And that's why I want the terms on there to be the end product terms. I keep mixing them up like I did when I first started. I hope you understand that. So anyway, you can pretend that's what you had on there. Just make that one big line and put the word protein in there. Scratch off amino acids. Because those, what you see on the screen there, that is the final product. That's what you try to eat. And just beside the point, anyone know right now what you use the proteins for that you eat? How does your body use them? To build stuff, to build structures, to build hair, to build cells. Your eye, you got blue eyes, you got brown. That blue, that's protein. Basically, your protein. How does your body use carbohydrates? What for? What's the reason for those? That's your energy. That's your fuel. Okay. That's your gasoline that you're eating. How does your body use lipids?
For storage.
That's for storage. If you eat too many carbohydrates, then your body changes those to fats and saves them for later on. Or now, even in your skin, is there not fat under your skin? That keeps you warm in cool weather. So fat's for insulation. Behind your eyes, if you could pop them out, there's gobs of fat behind your eyes. Like you when you go mail something UPS and you put it in like styrofoam package, that's your packing. The fat, it works great. Your cell membranes are made of fat to keep water out of your cells and keep water in your cells. You ever had a person have a seizure? You ever seen a seizure? How scary that is? A seizure happens it's like 2 live wires touching. You get sparks, won't you? Like in your house. You burn your house down. Well, in the body, your nerves are wrapped. Like I'd wrap a wire with black tape, you know, it's wrapped with myelin, which is fat. So when one nerve hits this nerve, actually they're not, it's the myelin touching, there's no spark. But as time wears on, sometimes you'll find, like, even in your own house, insulation wears off wires. And you start to see the wire, you go, watch out, that's getting dangerous. Well, in your own body, as time passes, if the myelin wears off and the touch, you have these seizures. And they tell you, don't get your finger and mouth in front of the seizure. They'll bite your finger, slap off. They also bite your tongue off. And for a seizure, the best thing to do is let them thrash. Just let them thrash it out. Let them expend the energy, and then they'll stop. Don't try to hold them down and make it. That hurts you probably. How does your body use nucleic acids? DNA and RNA. And DNA is genes. Color your hair, color your eyes, your skin texture. They say, like, if they say breast cancer is hereditary, they're discussing genes. So that's nucleic acids. I tell you right now, though, all the proteins you make is under the control of the DNA. And then the DNA, though, cannot tell the ribosome. It can't even talk to the ribosome. So what happens, the DNA makes a messenger and sends that message. The messenger is RNA. So when y'all were doing those base pairing, I said A and you said T. But if you had RNA, you said U. Well, if I'm the DNA and I said I want AAA, I want the protein AAA. Well, and if I tell that to the RNA, he's going to say U. Is that what I wanted? No. But he goes to ribosome, and the ribosome flips it back over. U becomes what? Which is what I wanted. So when ribosome sees U, he flips it back to AAA, which is what I wanted in the first place. That's beautiful how that works. And if I'm saying T, then my messenger is going to say AAA, and the ribosome is going to say U because he's RNA. But you got to remember, U's equal T's. They're twins. And so if the ribosome, if the protein I want is going to be, and usually it's like CGC, there's a whole string of them. I would tell my messenger the exact opposite, knowing full well out there in the cell what's going to happen. They're going to flip them back. And I'll get my wish. That's exactly how it happens in real life. And the nucleic acids are, I know they're your genes, but they control every protein you manufacture. Everything. Have you seen your eyes? Does your hair change color as you age?
Yes.
You know it does. Do eyes change color? Mine did. A lot of times, an eye would go from like being blue to being green as time passes by. That's all genetics. It's all genetics. But anyway, those are the big four. When you eat, now, vitamins, they're minerals. They're not in there. But you know you have vitamins, right? Vitamins make your processes work. You're going to see a lot of vitamins later on in this class where certain things won't happen without certain vitamins. And if they won't happen, then you have this vitamin deficiency or scurvy that the sailors got in the Navy because they had no citrus fruit, they had no limes. And so then the British learned first that when you're out high seas, top of these islands, and get fruit from the natives, be sure to get lime because lime has that vitamin C in it that stops scurvy. And so for long, the soldiers were called limeys. The sailors were called limeys. Hey, limey. Because of the fact that they can have lime. A soldier in the army on land wouldn't need that stuff. But on the ocean, because you have such a restricted diet, if the crew has scurvy, they ain't fighting. That ship's lost. You got to keep your sailors healthy. And that's what we discovered about. But vitamins are not in that class. Minerals are not okay. You can have iron. I don't mean like the iron like in a car. Well, I do mean in a way though. But the iron is used to make blood. have iron for blood, you have no energy, iron. Magnesium you got to have to make enzymes, got to have that. Sodium you got to have to make nerves function properly. Chlorine you got to have to make your tongue, make that acid. So you need these things that, iron and sodium and chlorine, and potassium is used to make certain enzymes also. Folks know before a race, eat a banana for the potassium. And you won't have those side stitches like some folks have to run a whole lot. 14. Now this is the either or statement. And this slide contains the first condition. And the molecules I'm referring to, the ones on number 13, the ones you just wrote down. You got to have those. Because metabolism is going to stop if you don't have them. And metabolism stops, you die. Because you are the sum total of all your chemical processes. Now, the word you've heard of anabolic steroids? Do you know what anabolic stands for? You have anabolism and catabolism. Which one builds? Anabolism or catabolism? Anabolism. Do steroids build big muscles?
Yes.
That's why they're called anabolic. Would you want to take catabolic steroids and become a weakling?
No.
So when you hear the word anabolic, it's not some super duper, it means the building kind of steroids to make the muscles bigger. Now I tell you what though, having big muscles, that always make you stronger?
Yeah.
Got to use the muscles. Some folks have big muscles are weak as a cat. They do nothing. I've seen some folks are big and fat and strong as an ox. They don't look strong. You see them pick that piece of pine wood up and try to walk off with it. And you're going, my God, it took two of us, I need to do it myself. So you can't always judge that book by its cover. The person who might look like Arnold Schwarzenegger might not be very strong at all. He just has a good cut, but he worth the crap on the workforce. So your anabolism is to build things. And so when you hear about these anabolic steroids, they're the ones that build things to make your muscles big. I tell you what though now, think about this though. Anabolic steroids and weightlifting, does that make you stronger? That's how they do it. They don't just take the steroids and stop right there. They build the muscles and then they lift the weights to do what in the muscles? Make them strong. Then you hit 500 home runs a year. And I tell you what, I think about the big problem with Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds, all those folks who are just slapping out home runs all the time. Now they find they were on steroids. Now when you compare them to Mickey Mantle and Elson Howard and Willie Mays and the folks who did it because of God's gift, is that a good comparison, you reckon? I don't think it is. I don't think it's fair to compare a person taking steroids to a person doing it with God's given body. You ever see Babe Ruth? He looked like Atlas Young. He looked like a little drunk. He was a drunk. He was strong as an ox. He didn't look like, like a He-Man. But Babe Ruth was the one who, of course, set the home run standard with 60 of them. And then Roger Maris came along at 61. No one remembers that, do they? Roger Maris beat the record before anybody else did. And Roger Maris cried about it, and then he kind of fell apart. But all them big home run hitters nowadays, I wonder about them. And the basketball players who do really, really good, there's always that question. Is that God given? Is that a syringe? And it worries me. I don't like seeing my old heroes set aside because of somebody taking these shortcuts. Anyway, so anabolism would be where you build things. There's still chemical processes, but they all build. They all build. Now the ore is on the next slide, or catabolism, that's where you break things down. That's not bad now. That's not bad. Because when you do digestion, you break things down, you better. Now, if you have difficulty remembering which one adds and which one tears away, I see the word catabolism. I think of a catastrophe that tears the houses down and rips things apart. So catabolism would be ripping things apart, tearing things down. That's how I remember myself. Anna, it really means to add, but a lot of folks don't think about that. But a catastrophe, you know what that sucker is. That's not good news. But in this sense here now, that's not bad up there. You better break down the food you eat or you die because you have nothing to live on. So this is good for us. And mainly we use that to get energy. It all boils down to energy. Whether you stay alive or not, it's all about energy. Of course, now I got to build new cells. When I get cut, I got to heal. So I got to break down my food so I have the building blocks to make new cells. So it also gives new materials. That word polymer on there. If I take a bunch of little pearls and I'm stringing me a pearl necklace, I get done and I got maybe 50 pearls, that's a polymer. Each pearl is a unit of that polymer. So when I put together monosaccharides to make a big old starch, well, the starch, like that pearl necklace, is a polymer. If I put together amino acids to make a protein, well, that's a polymer. Polymer is a general term. It don't mean carbohydrate. It doesn't mean protein. It means a bunch of things put together. Polymer. What's that? There's a product for folks who wear false teeth. What's it called? What's poly mean? It means many grips. It's supposed to be super strong. You know, bite into chewing gum and not put your dentures out. But poly means many, and poly means many here. It means many things put together. Many things put together. It's not a polymer. So when I say polymer, I think of just simply a long chain of something like pearls or whatever. Now, I didn't mention this I didn't think about it, but DNA, that's a polymer. It's a chain of nucleotides put together. I tell you about proteins. They're a bunch of amino acids put together. What's the word macro mean?
Small.
Huh?
Large.
Compared to what's the word micro mean? Do you need a scope for macrobiology? No. You need a scope for microbiology. If you got bad eyes, I stick to macrobiology. If you got good eyes or you got a good scope, go to macro. I found myself, when I was where you were getting my degree back in the dark ages, I didn't like microbiology because now I know that the school I went to didn't have very good microscopes. I couldn't see anything. I mean, it was a function of scope. Here at Tech, our scopes, man, they are top of the line, and I can see stuff. And I go, well, if I had this scope when I was in school, I'd probably be a microbiologist right now. Because I always like micro. I like looking at small stuff. It's just that the scopes we use were what the crap. And so the professor would say, look at this diatom. Do y'all see these structures? I'm going, oh, I see the blur. I said, I don't see anything here at all. He said, you got to imagine. Imagine hell. If I don't see it, I can imagine it. I can imagine it when I see it. But you got to show me first. And he would try. He draw like I did. That ain't work. But when I got to Tech, and I saw the scopes we had here, I was first dreading. I said, oh, I got to teach you scopes. And I put a slide under. I went, oh, wow, look at this. And I found myself playing. I didn't know the slide. I go, boy, if I had this scope when I was back in school, I wouldn't have such a bad taste in my mouth of microbiology. And it's gotten better. Now I don't mind the scopes upstairs because they're good scopes. But a few hours, if the lens slips, you can't ever get it quite focused. This should be crystal clear. And if it doesn't focus, then get another scope. And we have them being repaired all the time. Just sit my down too hard on the table, just boom. Can a lot of times knock out of whack. So treat them. They're delicate instruments. You can't just slam them around. But the macromolecules are, I tell you what though. Could you see with your naked eye one protein?
No.
Well, that's a macromolecule. You can't see it though, can you?
No.
But How about the things that make that? How about the one individual amino acid? You know you can't see it if you can't see 1,000 hooked together. But in the world of microscopes, that one amino acid, that's a macromolecule. And those 1,000 hooked together, which I still can't see without the scope, is a macromolecule. I don't know what you call me. What, a mega macro? Well, I can see needles in my eye. But all these things are talking, even a macromolecule, you still need a scope to see it. But you don't need like high power. You can use low power to see a macromolecule. To see a macromolecule, just spin that thing around, get a high power look at it. You might have to use oil immersion. But they all need scopes. But some things are bigger than others. The end of that slideshow. Now, when are you going to have this test picture? Next Monday.